Good evening, everyone. I saw something on Facebook a couple, 1 or 2 weeks ago, that I was going to talk about when I stood in the shower, and then I remembered something that I could actually talk about, and the what came in mind to me was stupid Swedish that made really incredibly stupid police calls. And I'm sorry if I'm moaning a bit, but I actually strained my lower back when I was fixing my litter box, my cat's litter box. But let's get into it. Here we have one really incredibly stupid first one here in the center. Let's see here. From ringing to complain about out-of-date ice cream to seeking assistance to find a receipt, Swedes have made some bizarre 112 calls. The local roundups 10 of the strangest 112 is actually the number you should call in Sweden to get an emergency assist. But let's get into this. Can I have a lift home? During the most recent New Year's Eve celebration, one drunk Swede dialed 112 inquiring if there was an ambulance around that could pick him up. The reason? There were no taxis to be found, obviously. I don't actually think that if there's something like that, the ambulance wouldn't be sent, but most likely the police. And another thing that actually comes in mind is the fact that the person that actually made that call could probably sleep at the friend's house, or most likely it was at the friend's house and he was partying, that the person could actually sleep there. It would have been another thing if he was at a party, a public party, but then my other thing that pops into mind is that he could call a friend. My first thought was, come on, you dum-dum. For one, don't get that drunk. Always make sure that you have a ride home. Don't call the emergency line, because one, they would probably send a cop car. Or two, they would probably laugh at you and just hang up on you. I mean, how dumb can you actually be? Anyway, on to the next one. the ice cream has gone bad. Swedish midsummer is time for eating and drinking in copious measures. When it was time for dessert, one Swede was so incensed that the ice cream she bought from an ice cream truck had gone bad. She promptly called 112 to complain. It may seem comical for anyone to call about expired ice cream, but it could have serious consequences for somebody else. Ronald Krantz of the SOS Alarms Press Office told the a local news here paper. If it is hard, it's if you have been to other countries and buy ice cream. People in Sweden, some of them actually has this law that you shouldn't buy soft ice cream because it might have gone bad for some reason. But yeah, sure, I understand the concern here, but to call 112 or 911 in some countries for something that trivial, I really don't think there's anything police would actually bother to do anything about, since they probably have some better things to do than investigate ice cream gone bad. I mean, come on, people. Use your brains for once. And it's in these times that I actually am afraid that Swedish people has actually sunk to the IQ level of the Americans. Sure, some Americans is actually smart, but some on social media is actually not that smart. On to the next one. Yeah, here we have something that I found really hilarious. I shouldn't actually say anything about it, but here we go. I'm gasping for a smoke. Another midsummer call rang to see if there was any ambulance circulating in the area, as she had run out of cigarettes and needed a nicotine fix. The call was quickly stubbed out. So she calls because her cigarettes calls the ambulance because her cigarettes was out of cigarettes. Yeah, and she rang the emergency line. I mean, sure, midsummer, most of the stores are closed, but you could probably go to a gas station somewhere and buy some, since I think most gas stations actually have open even in midsummer. I have seen some actually have been open on New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. But to call 112 for something that trivial, they would probably laugh at you, and the ambulance would probably say, stop smoking. It's not healthy. I mean, you can't call 112 for something that stupid. So even in Swedish, I sincerely lose the faith in even the Swedish people sometimes. I mean, On to the next one. Watergate 2.0. A young man rang 112 wanting police deployed to a hamburger bar after he was told he would have to pay 3 Swedish crowns or 44 cents for a glass of water. The one at wrong here, I would say the hamburger bar actually, but also the emergency call to the police that he had to pay 44 cents for a glass of water. He could just have gone to the toilet and fix that, I guess. But apparently he was that parched so that he just had to call 112. Both of them, the hamburger clerk and the person that called 112 was actually way stupid, and there's nothing really. No one here was in the right of doing anything, but I mean, both of them was probably pissed at something. One was pissed that he didn't get water and had to pay for it, and I think the hamburger clerk was actually greedy, I guess. I mean, moving on to the next one. My phone credit has run out. Payasyougo phones are still popular in Sweden, so when one Swede ran out of credit, he got on the blower to the cops asking if they could connect him to his friend instead. To call 112 in Sweden is actually free. You don't have to pay anything, but that's to call a friend like that. It's not an emergency, unless it is an emergency. But in this case, I really don't think there's an emergency in this situation. And who actually pays for pay-as-you-go phones these days? I haven't seen that in years. I stopped with that when I realized that I was using way too much money on in about 2 weeks. I could spend $100 in just 2 weeks. And now I spend a little bit above $90 for a month to get 60 gigabytes of internet connection. But I mean, this is not how it's supposed to be. I didn't even know that someone was actually that stupid so that it called 911 to connect him to his friends or her friend. I just can't deal with this. I'm a bit mad and my back hurts, so I can't deal with this shit. Oh, come on, people. Oh, I saw this one and I found this incredibly dumb. Where's my receipt? As a Swede goes to take out some cash from one of the few ATM machines remaining in the country. But wait a second, where's my receipt? Better call on 112. The operator asked her if somebody nearby needed the police, ambulance or fire brigade. No, I just want my receipt. I know for a fact that in my town they have actually taken down one of the ATMs. So, but this, I mean, call 911 because he didn't get the receipt. Tired right now. It would be a really good idea to call if someone actually took it, but that he didn't get it. For one, you can actually decide if you want a receipt or not, but you can have that optional. But to call for something stupid as that, call the emergency line for something stupid like that, it's just dumb. You have the choice to actually get it or not, and I can't. I can't. On to the next one. Do the police deliver? A woman who left her bag of groceries on a tram rang the police to see if they could perhaps race up alongside it so she could retrieve it for her. Wow. A tram like that in one of the big cities, they really don't go that fast. I mean, you could probably call for something like this when it looks like this tram has derailed, but to call about something that dumb as for the police to actually fetch her groceries from the tram, that is probably one of the most dumbest thing you can do. The police would say, just laugh in your ear when you call and then hang up on you pretty damn quick. I mean, on to the next one, please. Oh yeah, I saw this one before as well, and it's about a person that's in the hospital that wanted and then rang up the emergency line to get an ambulance when he was in the hospital. Fed up with waiting in the emergency room, a woman whose son had a fever rang up 112. She complained that they were waiting too long and wanted to get it in quicker. Even though you would actually call for something like that, and you need an ambulance. Actually, you don't need an ambulance because when I broke my wrist, I went to the hospital and I had to wait a couple of hours to just see if it was broken or not. They don't take in people to the hospital because of a freaking cold or fever. And another time I actually worked at my dad's factory, and one of them I got a thumbnail, I think it's called, I don't know, inside of my thumb, and it was really bad. It went in somewhere here and almost went out here. Luckily it just scraped the bone, so none of the nerves actually was damaged. So sometimes I actually might feel a little bit of pain, but yeah, that's about it. And to get this thing operated from the thumb, I had to wait at least a week. And upon that, I was waiting in the emergency room for about 6 to 8 hours to just get in to look at it. I mean, I'm speechless. I better get on to this. We have 2 more dumb emergency calls that Swedes have done. Can I come back in? Politicians, sports stars, and some high-powered celebrities are often entitled to a police escort. One Swede who was kicked out of a pub by security staff felt entitled to the same privilege and rang 112 to ask for the cops to kindly bring him back inside. The police would probably arrest you before they escort you back in. And I think even if it would be politicians, sports stars, or some other high privileged people did the same thing and got tossed the fuck out of there, pardon my French, it would probably have the same results. If they called a police, they would lock you up just like that. This is not a good police report. And good emergency call. They would just throw you in the drunk tank and let you actually sleep it off before they do anything else, before they send you home in disgrace. And the last one, I sincerely felt that I have lost brain cells just by reading all this shit. And the last one, I'm stuck in a luggage locker. What? Okay. How do you even get stuck in a friggin' luggage locker? This one is actually a good thing to call, to be honest, but the fact that he got stuck in a friggin' luggage locker, how did he manage to even do that? Anyway, to this one. Uh-oh. Okay. In 2011, a man called 112 wanting to be rescued from a sealed luggage locker. Police reckoned it was a prank call, especially when he didn't answer his phone when they called him back. Yeah, already there, the police would probably laugh at you. Turned out the man was telling the truth after being shoved in the locker by his friends as a prank. He eventually escaped unharmed after police arrived on the scene. First of all, I wouldn't say that he was stuck, but rather shoved in. Just the title made me kind of speechless. And sure, when they called him back, these lockers is actually small, really small, and some of them has actually levels. One in the school, I remember when I was in school, there was this. It was 2 levels, one at the bottom and one at the top, so it wasn't that much room at all. And for a person to get stuck in there, in one of these that I had, if you were stuck, you were stuck. You would probably had to break the locker. So it was pretty much a little shelf in the middle of it, somewhere to actually put your school bag in, and it was just this small space between the actually let's say wall of the locker and the shelf that you put your books in. So it was really small. Yeah, but there you have it, folks. 10 of the dumbest Swedish emergency calls. I am actually happy that I made it through. Yay me! I forgot to tell you. Like, subscribe, and share this one. And comment down below if you want some content like this. Until next time. Fearless Mike out.